Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Horace. If you're new here, welcome. I do a lot of art related things. I do sometimes a little bit of rambling, sometimes a little bit of tutorials. It just all depends. So let me know how you feel and, enjoy yourself. Listen to this while you're working, listen to this while you're painting, while you're drawing, whichever. But if you ever need a little pick-me-up or a little therapy session, I'm the one, talk your feelings out. But today I kind of wanted to talk about reinventing the wheel. I just wanted you guys to know that creativity isn't something that should be hard. I think a lot of people in this period of time are trying to chase the way they saw creativity, a year or two ago or a year ago, and they feel like they lost their ways or they lost their creativity or, the way they painted and things like that. But I feel like everyone sort of forgets that the wheel is already invented. And, what I mean by this is there was a couple of concepts that I really wanted to make in my lifetime, paintings that I really wanted to show, themes that I wanted to, help represent who I am as an artist and, what I like to be perceived as. And I feel like a lot of times there is a little voice in the back of your head that makes you feel like ideas are just supposed to come magically from your head, just supposed to conjure up out of no inspiration besides, the moment your brain pops it into your head and then you put it out into existence. Ideas are formed with, boards of inspiration or vision boards or magazine covers or movies you like or music you like or colors together that make you feel some type of way. Ideas are basically about copying. And I'm not saying go out there and become like the next Picasso word for word and just copy everything from him, basically. I mean, you can do that if you want to on your own time, but if you want to be an artist, you have to steal and you have to copy these ideas that you feel represent you in your specific way. Because we don't come into the world knowing who we are and magically become this dream person that we are. We learn from somebody else and then we tweak those parts of ourselves that are our own and we use that to become an individual. That's why in terms of inspiration, we take from the things we personally like. No one else will ever take those exact things. And that's why those specific inspirations are your own and no one else's, because it only speaks to you. I know there are billions and billions of people out in the world, but this is what makes you special, is your taste and your inspiration. And from there, you will become the person you always wanted to be. But don't be afraid to steal from inspiration. Don't feel like, oh, this is something I really want to make, but I'm afraid to copy them. You can start off with a copy, but then tweak it out and use several inspirations to remake something new, to remake the wheel. We have, this perfect invention, the wheel, and sometimes people feel like, oh, we need something better. Like, there needs to be something never seen before. The wheel is already there. We can only modify it to work better, or to run smoothly, or to, have this type of aerodynamic quality to it. But it's still going to be the wheel. It's still going to be something that will be progressively the same in some type of way. It will still recirculate new things, but will always have this form of similarity. And unless you want to make some quantum realm stuff, find maybe 2 or 3 or 4 artists. It doesn't even have to be artists. It can be an outfit that you really like from a fashion show, or a certain place, or a movie, or a specific scene in a film, and use all of those together and make something new. It can even be almost like a fan art, but it's from your filtered perspective. That's what makes it you. There are artists like Jamie Giuliano Villani, who basically, she will take scenes from a cartoon or scenes from a movie and try to recreate, an album cover of her favorite band with those, tools that she has acclimated. And this makes a painting that doesn't even look like fan art. It just looks like its own self entirely, because she used her interests and she used her inspiration to make something entirely different and entirely unrecognizable. And that's what makes your art you. Artwork it's a tricky thing, because it can come from the heart. It can come from, as Vincent van Gogh, he would use it almost as like a poetic meaning. Like, he would use his feelings along with his studies and what he learned to mix that together and make that something original. And the way of art even before then was people would copy and copy and copy, and by the end of copying the things you really want or admire or really want to paint like, you became your own entity, and you would use your skills to make your own things. So it really is just a basis of copying, and it's never really just like copying one by one. It's like, in terms, reverse engineering a painting or reverse engineering a sculpture. Like, you're learning how these other people did it, and in order to learn that, you can use that for other ideas or other references that you want to make, and then from then on, this passes around, so forth and so forth, and becomes your own style or your own, painting mechanism, or your own, look or color that you have to all your paintings. And that's what, being an individual really is from taking, certain resources of what you want as a human, and using that to get what you need, or to be perceived as you want, or as you want your art to look, or how you want your art to be like. Because we all learn from other people, and I think that's the absolute win for an artist or a person altogether. So just go out, just copy. I'm not saying copy every single thing you find, because even that in itself is, I think, what kills creativity too, is you're taking from like, oh, I'm just gonna take from everything and mush it together. No, just listen to your, to yourself, and to what artworks speak out to you, or what references speak out to you, and use that, because that's just your brain and your interests going, oh, that's what I need from, this whole web of art in the art world, or this whole web of references or inspiration. And that's what makes a person an individual. So, yeah, that's basically what I had to say. I know it took a couple speed runs of like a lap to actually say it, but yeah, just copy and just be yourself. And yeah, in terms of what makes you happy or makes you keep going as an artist is that you never really stop learning. It's not really something you kind of just grow up to know per se. Like look at Picasso, look at Henry Matisse. All these people learned something, relearned it, unlearned it, and broke the rules. And there's always more experimenting to do with one's art. Like art is something truly no one ever really stops. And I know that's haunting in a way, but it's also very artistic, very ironically. But yeah, just go out there in the world and just find your niche and find the little tiny spark, and that will lead you to a trail of things that you want to explore more deeply in your art, or things you want to show, or secrets you want to tell, or things about yourself you want to uncover. And that also is kind of what art is as well, which is a very open-ended question. So, go out there, take what you need to take, even find what other artists do to, make the art they make, and try following their exact technique and be like, oh, this works for me, but this doesn't. So then you have a piece of the puzzle of what you like intuitively, and then go on to the next person, or figure out what else helps you in your artistic process, and that will help you find your artistic style and process, and what kind of paintings you want to explore, a series you want to make, and that kind of just helps you throughout the whole thing. So yeah, like for this artwork, it all started off with, I have this journal basically, and when I'm listening to music and I have this little idea in my head, I don't really sketch it out. I more so just like type it out or write it out. Like this was a lamp with a cigarette, and that's all the information I got from my past self that time period, when I was listening to probably a song or something and was feeling a little edgy. But I was like, okay, so what are some artists that put a lot of like cigarettes in their work? And I was thinking, oh, Greer Langton. And then, there's like Henry Matisse or Marguerite Renee. And I'm like, okay, so I have these people that I really like, so I want to do a little bit of a homage or style to them. And then I even like with the Reaper in the back, I see, I was watching a lot of Agatha all along, and so the Green Witch, the Grim Reaper, spoiler, is a character I really love. So I was like, okay, let me put them and let me add this sort of, narrative. So collectively, it looks like something that goes completely together. But it was a collection of all these processes that led me to this specific painting that has at least some sense of unison to it. So that was my final bits of this YouTube video. I hope you liked it. I'm sorry, I wish it was longer, but there really isn't anything on my mind as much right now, so I kind of just dumped it all onto you, thankfully. So if you enjoyed it, let me know. Let me know what else you would like to see. Subscribe if you want, comment down below if you want. It really helps. But I will see you guys soon, and you guys have a good one. Bye.